Hello everyone and welcome to another night of CGP1 Racing. This is season 40 and we are here for round 7 and 8 of the season. First race taking place at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and then we follow that up with a race round Montreal circuit in Canada. That is also a one-shot quali 35% race for that one, and that is the second of four 35% races coming up this season. So we've got that to look forward to. Quick rundown of the championship standings before we get into the racing tonight and the rest of this qualifying session. Cam is currently leading the championship on 90 points, and Dan the Man on 80 in second. Then we've got Jovial Manatee in third on 78, Jack Hickman in fourth on 55, and the Softcop in fifth on 52. As we just see Jovial Manatee coming to the end of a flying lap, and he hasn't improved. He invalidated that actually, so let's scroll up. Softy is just on a flying lap, as we can see on the screen at the moment, heading round the final couple of corners. Well, he's heading round through the middle sector, shall I say, sorry. He's in that middle sector now, and he's going through turn 6 and heading towards turn number 7, and he's up by a tenth on his previous lap time already as he goes through 7, through 8, and he's coming up to rint corner number 9. He's only got a couple more corners, 10 turns around this Red Bull Ring circuit here in Austria, and then down a couple more gears through the final corner. What's his lap time going to be? What's the next time he does? It's 1 minute 3.4, goes 3 tenths quicker than the next nearest person. Cam pops up right behind him. He goes to a 3.5. So see who else is on a lap. Jovial Manatee, did he continue for another lap? No, he's heading back to the box. Aiden, is he on a flyer? No. Court Gill? No. See if anyone feels on a... No. No one is out on a flyer at the moment. They're all on in laps ready to go for final runs as it stands currently in this session.
So Big Boy Druid is currently the only guy out on an outlap at the moment. He's just winding himself up, ready to start flying lap, so right on board with him through the final couple of corners and ready to start this flying lap. 10 turns, like I've already mentioned, around this 2.6 mile circuit here at the Red Bull Ring. Coming up to turn 1, down to about 4th gear for Lauder corner, and then out on the exit, one of the DRS straights here. We've got 3 DRS zones on this circuit for the drivers to make opportunities and go for overtakes. Head towards the kink of 2 and into the braking zone of 3 now. Oh, it is very slidey on the back end from Big Boy Duran there. He's got a slidey back end, Mr. Duran, and he's tipped it in, made it a bit tricky on the entry to turn number 3, but he's got through it nicely, and now he heads towards Rouch corner, that is turn number 4, gets it through. And is there any improvement on his previous? He's currently on a 1 minute 5.3 0, sorry, as that puts him bottom of the pecking order out of the people setting times. He's got a little bit quicker, but not much quicker, so he'll be hoping to improve, maybe get himself into that top 15 with this lap, as he's just got a couple more corners to go. Flicks it in through turn 9. He's just got the final corner now. Big commitment there. You have to be so committed in those last 2 corners, and his lap time is a 104.8, and he does put himself into that top 15. Let's see, Jack Hickey just starting a flying lap. What about John, as he's a little bit further back? So I'm going to ride on board with Jack Hickey going towards the first couple of corners. The 71 driver of Jack Hickey in the Mercedes, former TGP1 champion a couple of times over, as he heads towards the end of the first sector. Is he going to improve this time round? And he's improved by 12 thousandths, so not a huge improvement. Not the improvement he would have been looking for from that first sector, as he heads onto another DRS straight, and he's got his run down towards turn number 4 now. AlphaTauri keeping out the way nicely there. So round he goes through turn number 4 and sweeping his way through 5, a long sweeping corner. It's basically one corner, that section. And now we head into the end of the second sector. Any more improvement? He's a little bit down actually, Jack Hickey, at the moment, as we see guys now getting ready for their final run. So Hickey's a little bit down. We'll have to scroll up and see how Johns is doing in a sec, as we see Hickey come around these final couple of corners. Is he going to improve? If he does, where is it going to put him on the grid? A decent improvement could put him 5th, and that is exactly where he's gone. Let's see what Johners is doing. He's currently about a 10th up in that middle sector, so he's improving. It's not going to be enough to put him any further up the grid as it stands. Softy is happy with his time and is retired from the session, and Johners has gone quicker. He's dipped under the 104 barrier, but that's not going to be enough. We've got Cam on an outlap. We've got Machine Fishy on an outlap. There'll be 2 guys to watch. So Machine Fishy coming round the final corner now in the McLaren. He's currently on a 3.7, needs to bind about 3/10 to put himself in pole position and needs to find maybe 2/10 to put himself on the front row of the grid here in Austria. So he's currently a 10.5 down. That's not a very good first sector. He needs to find a heap of time in that second sector. What about Cam? He's just starting a flying lap as well, just behind. Let's see what he can do through that first sector. He is currently heading towards the end of that first sector. He's 13 thousandths up. That's a little bit of an improvement. He's still up as it stands. We'll switch back to Machine Fishy now in the McLaren, heading towards the end of sector 2. What's his time going to be? Oh, it's a big slide. He's in the gravel. That's the lap over for Machine Fishy, unfortunately. Big slide coming through turn number 6. And yeah, that's his any chance of a front row start gone for him. Going to ride on board with Cam in the Ferrari now. Let's see what he can do. Flicking his way through this middle sector. He's a little bit down. He's 82 thousandths down, but still not unsalvageable. He's still got 2 corners left to go. He's got the ring corner and he's got turn number 10. So flicking through towards the turn number 9, and then we've got turn 10. Flicks it in nicely. Can he improve? Can he set himself onto pole position with this lap time? And no, he can't. He can't quite do it. Dan the Man is currently in P6. He'll be hoping to improve. Maybe dip under the 104 barrier and put himself a little bit further up the grid. Jovial Mantis just put himself up into 6th place in that AlphaTauri. So let's see what Dan the Man could do. And he puts himself into the top 5. Doesn't quite break the 104 barrier, but he's not far off it. Matt Tibos currently running in P10. He's currently improving on his lap time. Can he put himself further inside that top 10 with this lap, the Haas driver? So head towards turn number 9. Right on board with the Haas. Flicks it through nicely through ring corner. And then down a couple more gears through turn number 10, the final corner. Don't want to run too wide on the exit. And he hasn't done that time. Has improved up into P6. See who else we've got. ERT Jordan is not on a flying lap, so I believe that is your session. So Softy is on pole position in his Red Bull. Cam will join him on the front row, and Machine Fishing will start 3rd, with John as the only other driver to dip under the 104 barrier in this qualifying session. So here is a full rundown of the grid. So Softy is on pole by a 10th over Cam. Then we have Machine Fishy in 3rd. Johners is in 4th. Then we got Dan the Man in 5th. Matt Tibos in 6th. Jack Hickey 7th. And Jovial Manti in 8th. Alistair Bade and Aidan, the 2 brothers, sit in 9th and 10th, locking out the 5th row of the grid. Then we've got Phil Bardrow in 11th. ERT Jordan in 12th. Wet Lemons 13th. Then we've got Court in 14th. Dom Smith in 15th. Big Boy Duran in 16th. 17th Jack Pearson. Speed Kai in 18th, and then we have Mr. Chiapelli and Magic Poop Cannon, who had qualifying bans rounding out the grid. So the drivers are going to be making their final preparations for this 18-lap race around this 2.6-mile circuit, 10 turns of the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. So drivers just making their final preparations for the race here at the Red Bull Ring. Going to be 18 laps around this 2.6-mile circuit in the Styrian Mountains part of Austria. So the red lights are coming on. We've got 3, 4, 5 lights on here in Austria. And it's lights out and away we go. And it looks like a solid start from the front row by Softy. Cam going to slot in behind. Is Machine Fishing maybe looking to the outside? No, the front three are pretty much line astern, and all the battling is further behind. As we see the drivers head down towards turn number 2 for the first time. Cam running in second place, Softy in the lead, Machine Fishy in third. Then we've got Johnson in fourth, and he may be looking at a move on Machine Fishy. No, he's looking to the outside, turn number 3, but Softy maintains his lead after the first sector. Cam in second. We've got Johners in fourth, Machine Fishy in third. As I see a bit of dicing further back between Matt Tibos, the Williams of Jovial Manatee, and the Williams of Phil Bardrell. Oh, there's contact between Jovial Manatee and Phil Bardrell. And Jovial Manatee goes spinning to the back of the order. That's not the start that he would have wanted in this Grand Prix. Dan the man looking all over the back of Johners in his Alpine as we head towards the end of this first lap. But Softy still leads, Cav in second, and Machine Fishing is currently third as we head through towards the end of lap number 1. A lot of drivers starting on these medium tyres. Let's just have a quick look, and pretty much the majority of the field, apart from Tibos, Phil Bardrell and Jack Pearson, starting on the medium tyres in this race. As we see Cam closing in on the back of Softy as he heads down the straight. Is he going to try and make a move down in towards turn number 2, turn number 3 even? And no, not quite. They're still line astern as it is. Machine Fishing holding onto the back of him in P number 3 as we head down towards turn number 4 in this race. Rouch corner, another DRS zone, but the DRS is not quite active yet. We've got another lap for that to happen. Cam hassling and harrying the back of the Red Bull driver, but to no avail so far. But there's still time in this race. Both started on these medium tyres and both looking to go either. Well, in the medium tyres on this game, because of the way you can work it, means you've got a bit of options on that strategy, starting on the mediums. If the tyre wear's good for you, you can go to the softs and run that to the end. If the tyre wear's bad for you, you can jump onto the hards, and it's not really that much of a loss for you. As we see these drivers still line astern, look further down the field. Matt Tibos all over the back of the Mercedes driver, Jack Hickey. That is the 4 position. Number 6 and 7 on the road. Haas looking all over the back there. Meanwhile, Cam and Machine Fishing still pretty much line astern. They're still very close together and still looking to make a move. Cam looking all over the back of Softy. DRS is enabled this time round as well, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, DRS is enabled, so Cam's got that to worry about. Machine Fishy is actually looking closer to make a move on Cam than Cam is on Softy as they stand heading towards turn number 4. They go. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. A bit of a slide there from Cam on the exit of turn 4, flicking their way through 5 and in towards turn number 6. But the front 3 have pulled a bit of a gap on the rest of the field. 1.6 seconds clear of Johners, this front 3 now. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a group forming behind Johners now of about, back down to about 12 actually. Back down to Wet Lemons in 11th. Bit of a group forming behind Johners, but the front 3 are pulling away from the rest of the field as it stands. As we see Machine Fishy with the DRS, unfortunately he's going to have a bit of trouble trying to pass Cam. He's also got DRS off the back of Softy. Softy maybe starting to stretch his legs a little bit at the front. But we see Machine Fishy once again all over the back of Cam. Is he going to be able to be close enough? I don't think he is. I think that DRS aid of Cam is helping him towards turn number 3 this time round. And it is indeed. That's helped him out nicely. So the top 3 are pretty much pulled away. There's a great scrap happening further down. Dan the man up the inside of Johners, make a little bit of contact there, and they're going to be side by side on the exit, and Johners just about holds on and keeps his position. Meanwhile, Jack Hickey all over the back of Dan the man. This is the closest battle on the circuit, but the leaders are still pretty much all nose to tail further up the field. Is there going to be any dice in between this lot? I don't think it'll be coming anytime soon. Cam trying to hassle and harry the back of that Red Bull driver once again, but he isn't quite close enough to really make a move. They're flicking their way through the final corner, turn number 10, and they're on to lap number 5 of this race already. A very quick lap here around Austria, only just over a minute, so it's going to be coming thick and fast, these corners for the drivers, as we see themselves head over towards the end. And there's Jack Pearson's out the race, and that is not a surprise really, as we see himself carrying on. As I see the front 3 carried on, and Jack Pearson is in the wall at turn number 10. That's the first of his DNFs. There's probably going to be another one in the second race, just to warn you all. As we see the top three pulling away. 3 seconds the gap over Johners in fourth now, and it's all getting very feisty further back. It's all getting very feisty, all getting a bit argy-bargy. This isn't British touring cars, lads. You don't have bumpers, you have front wings, and you don't want to lose those end plates on these corners. As you see, it all gets feisty. Dan the Man still in fifth. Matt Tibos now puts himself up in sixth. Jack Hickey's dropped a couple of places. He's down to P7. Phil Bardwell still well over the back of this train. Meanwhile, further up the field, the front three have kind of settled into a rhythm, to be honest. None of the argy-bargy that we're getting in the train behind Johners, but they are all very much close together, looking to see if the other guy makes a mistake. Kai is in the pits in one of the Ferraris, so Cam's teammates already boxed. So Cam doesn't have to worry about that anymore from a strategy point of view. He can pit whenever he feels like. Cam all over the back of Softy now. Needs to get a good exit out this corner. And he gets an okay exit. He's going to have the DRS as he heads on to lap number 6 here at the Red Bull Ring. Heading down this straight now and see what he can do. So round the corners he goes. And Dan the Man and Johners are side by side on the exit. I can't see, there he is. Dan the Man, Johners side by side heading towards turn number 6. Johners just about going to hold on to the position, but Dan the Man's going to try and hang it around the outside through 6. And he's had to slot back in behind again through turn number 7. So Johners still at the front of this queue. These two are actually starting to make a little bit of a gap on Matt Tibos now, as Matt Tibos looks like he's dipping into the pit lane. Yes, he is. That means one of that train is bailing early, as we see the front three still line astern further up the road. Dan the Man looking to the back at Johners. Time penalty for Mr. Chiapelli, unfortunately. That's 3 seconds worth of penalties for him now in this Grand Prix. As you see Dan the Man looking to the outside through into turn number 2. He's going to be on the outside of 3. If he does get the move done, he's got the move done. He's finally cleared Johners and puts himself up into position number 4. And he'll be hoping to try and close down the gap on that front three. Meanwhile, Cam still looking all over the back of Softy as this front group is settling down a bit, and this group behind is very feisty. And there's a dive there from Wet Lemons on the inside of Alistair. Do they make it stick? No. Wet Lemons has to drop in behind once again, and Alistair retains 9th position. Meanwhile, there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Looks like Big Boy Duran has some issues there. As we see, Cam, once again, still hassling and harrying back of this group. We've got Jack Hickey peeling into the pit lane, actually. I was just about to look at him, but he's peeling into the pit lane. Going to ride on board with Machine Fishy. He's got a great view of the Ferrari and the Red Bull in front of him. See them two scrapping away as he just sits back and lets them get on with it. Cam's getting closer and closer. Is he going to make a move into turn number 3? No, he isn't quite close enough this time round. A little bit wide there from Softy, and that may have just given Cam the opportunity. He's got the DRS. He'll really use a little bit of overtake to try and get the move done. He's going to go to the outside at turn number 4. That's a risky move. Going to look to the outside. Softy's going to force him to the exit, and he's done that. And that means Machine Fishy is going to be side by side with Cam going into turn number 6. And he's got the move done. Machine Fishy is gained a place, and Cam going for the move round the outside of turn number 4. We've seen in real life that move doesn't really pay off if you go for that move. And Softy proving it on Cam once again, as Softy is peeling into the pit lane. So is Cam. And is Machine Fishy? No, he's staying out. So he's staying out, but the other two are boxing now. Meanwhile, Aiden, we're firmly into the round of stops now as everyone's pitting and seeing where they come out. Got to see where Bat Tibos is. He's currently down in 14th. He's actually jumped Johners in that round of stop, as Johners dropped behind Matt Tibos by about a second. So he really was slowing that pace of that train down, Mr. Jean-Luc Taylor. As Devane is currently in P4. Court Gill has picked up a 5 second time penalty. No, 3 second time penalty, sorry. And he puts himself. He's currently P5 on the road. He's picked up a 3 second time penalty. That's not ideal for him. Him and Mr. Chiapelli both have penalties in this Grand Prix so far. So we're entering a stage of the race where the drivers are pitting and making the strategies play out. Some guys started on soft, some started on medium. So it'd be interesting to see what the guys are on now. Softy's gone to the hards and Cam has gone to the softs. So Cam is going to be very racy at the early part of this race, especially as they're both stuck behind Dom Smith, who's peeling into the pit lane this time. Cam just doesn't really have the room to go for a move, unfortunately, at this moment in time. He's still all over the back. Machine Fishy enters the pit lane himself. He's probably going to drop behind this duo. As you see, Cam with the softer tyres potentially making a move. No, he thinks better of it. He's going to try and get the move done into turn number 3. Meanwhile, Machine Fishy rejoins the race just behind these two. They're side by side. Cam using hers, using the DRS, and gets himself into the lead of the race. He's now leading this race on those soft tyres. But Softy is hoping, because he's on those hard tyres, he's hoping that Cam's tyres fall away towards the end of this Grand Prix and he'll be able to come back at him. What's Machine Fishy done tyre-wise? He's got onto the softs as well. So Softy is a bit of a sitting duck strategy-wise as it stands. He's got Machine Fishy on the softs, Cam on the soft tyres as well in this race. And Matt Tibos is the big gainer looking further down the field. He's jumped on us. He's jumped pretty much most of that train he was in. He's now at the front of it, and he's now a net P4 in this race. But this is the front 3 group. These are the 3 battling for the victory here at the Red Bull Ring. We're on lap number 11 of this race now. Still got a couple of drivers yet to pit. Dan the Man and Aiden, but still both yet to box in this Grand Prix. As you see, Softy getting closer and closer to the back of Cam. He's using DRS, he's using Kurz. He's going to go up the inside at turn number 3, is he? Side by side, using that DRS in the ears. Has he got the DRS once again? Yes, he has. There's a bit of a contact. There might have been a bit of lag there, but Softy puts himself back into the lead of this race. And all those soft tyres already going off for Cam. He's struggling. Meanwhile, Machine Fishy right behind. He's lurking in the background, waiting for these two to potentially have an accident. And that means he will pick up the spoils from that. So, these drivers heading through turn number 8. Just got a couple more corners to go on this lap, and they'll be on to lap number 12, and there'll only be 6 laps left of this race. Most of the strategies have shaken out now. Just Dan the Man and Aiden, who've just boxed now to pit, and they are pitting now. This front 3 are all nose to tail, heading on to lap number 12 here at the Red Bull Ring. What can Softy do? Can Softy hold on? He's got the least grip on paper out of the 2 guys behind him. They're both on the soft tyres. Machine Fishy is looking for a move on the inside. Cam up the inside of Softy, and they're side by side running through turn number 3. Cam, I think, is going to have the drive on the exit on those softer tyres. They're going to be side by side heading towards turn number 4. It's wheel to wheel, side by side. Cam still up the inside. Softy's going to try and hang it around the outside. Bit of wheel banging going on. And now he's going to have to hang it around the outside through turn number 6. Again, a bit wide. And that means Machine Fishing's dived up the inside, taken advantage, let Cam do all the scrapping. And once, like I said, Machine Fishy went and picked up the spoils, puts himself up into P number 2 of this race. Softy is down. Softy is leading, and Cam is down to P3. Matt Tibos is now been overtaken by John. Is actually looking further down the field. Jack Hickey, they've got a little bit of a gap back to Jack Hickey, currently run P6. Phil Bardrow in 7th, Kai in 8th, Dan the Man in 9th, and Wet Lemons is rounding out the top 10 as it stands. But Machine Fishy looking for a move round the outside of turn number 3 on lap number 13. Is he going to get the move done? Quite easily done on the DRS. He's going to have to try and pull away now on those softer tyres. Try and get Softy out of his DRS. But Softy has got the DRS wide open on that Red Bull. He's going to potentially make a move down the inside at turn number 4. No, he's going to try and think about getting the cut back. But these 3, all pretty much nose to tail, would have been since the start of this race. And now we're finally starting to see the position swaps between this group of drivers. Cam looking all over the back of Softy as well, as these 3 have pulled out about an 8-second gap on the rest of the drivers that in this Grand Prix. So, heading on to lap number 14, 5 laps to go in this Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and that's why Wet Lemons is out of this race. He was running in the top 10, having quite a performance, but unfortunately, he's had an accident. He's dropped out of this race, and that is disaster for him, but it means guys like Alistair and Aiden have moved up positions, and Dom Smith is only 2.5 seconds off the points, as we see Softy diving up the inside here at turn number 3 here at Austria, as we see Softy take the lead of this Grand Prix. Cam and Machine Fishy side by side on the run down to turn number 4. Is Cam going to get the move done as well? Yes, he is. So we're back to the order they were in before the pit stops. Softy leading, Cam second, Machine Fishy in third. As we see Cam all over the back of Softy. Still got life in those soft tyres by the looks of it, as he goes through these corners here at the Red Bull Ring. Not long left in this race, and the drivers will be wanting to make moves, but this top 3 have been the class of the field here in Austria so far, as we see ourselves onto lap number 15 here at the Red Bull Ring. Machine Fishy got a ride on board in him now. He's got the best view of Cam and Softy and potentially any battles that may be happening further up the field. You have a quick look at the telemetry just to be a little bit nosy. 20% for Fishy, 20% for Cam. Oh, and there's plenty. Softy has got plenty of errors in the back. That's just the experience of being a TGP1, former TGP1 champion there. He's kept his errors in preserve, and I think he's now going to try and use that as an opportunity to burn it away from the rest of the field. He's got more errors than both Cam and Fishy to use in this Grand Prix. As we see the positions maintained once again. Meanwhile, further down, Johners and Matt Tibos side by side, battling over P4 in this race. As we see Tibos looking to the outside, turn number 6. Is he going to try and hold it round the outside? He's on the medium tyres. Johners is on those hards. And Tibos has dropped back behind Johners once again. Meanwhile, this front 3 are still nose to tail, being covered by a blanket, as we start the final 3 laps of this Grand Prix here in Austria. TGP1 Season 40, Round 7 here at the Red Bull Ring. So the drivers are heading up towards turn number 3 once again in this Grand Prix. No changes in position. I think Cam may not be able to do anything now. I think that ERS advantage of Softy may be enough to hold on. He's going to have the DRS though. He's going to try all his best. Meanwhile, further back, Tibos and Johners side by side once again in this race, headed down the straight. Tibos is going to have the DRS, which means he should pull in front by the time they get to turn number 4, and he's done that. He's in front again. Johners back down to P5, but this battle isn't over yet in this race. These two scrapping over P4 and P5. Jack Hickey currently got 1.4 seconds over Dan, 1.4 seconds behind, and he's got a 1.5 seconds over Dan the man. Meanwhile, these front 3 are getting closer and closer together. 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix. And we see, a bit of a slide there from Fishy on the exit of turn number 1. Just about hangs on to it. And Cam, again, not quite close enough in this race to make a move. Meanwhile, further back, Johners, is he going to try and make a move on Matt Tibos? This is the battle for P4 and P5. Johners in his Aston Martin versus Haas. He's going to look to the inside of Matt Tibos. Tibos backs off, thinks about the DRS opportunity on the exit. He's going to have the DRS down this straight on the run down to turn number 4 now. And let's see what he can do. Dive down the inside of turn 4. No, he thinks better of it. He backs off and he thinks that might be an opportunity for the final lap of the race. But Johners gets a poor exit out of that corner. And let's see what he can do. Can he make a move up to the inside of turn number 6? No, he can't quite. Meanwhile, Cam all over the back of Softy, heading on to the final lap of the race here at the Red Bull Ring. As we see, Softy, Cam, Machine Fishy, nose to tail. 1, 2 and 3. Cam has probably been maybe saving hers, trying to make an opportunity on this last lap of this Grand Prix. But Softy gets a really good exit out at turn number 1. Cam's still there though. He's still pushing. He's got coming. Is he going to try and go for a move round? He's going to try and go round the outside at turn number 3. That isn't going to quite work. But Cam thinks the cutback may work. Got the DRS. Going to have hers. Is he going to make a move down the inside? Softy is running low on hers. Softy has to defend the inside of turn number 4. Cam looking to the outside. And it is he going to be shown the curb? Yes, it is. Machine Fishy down the inside. He's going to be on the outside for turn number 6. Is he going to steal second place on the last lap from Cam? Yes. Oh, they've made contact. And Fishy's round. Fishy is round. And that means that Fishy is probably going to drop off the podium if he can't get going that quickly. No, he's got going again. He's going to stay on the podium. But Softy coming around the final couple of corners. Just got one more corner to go in this Grand Prix. And he wins in Austria in season 40. Softy wins the race. Cam is going to come home for second for Ferrari. Machine Fishy, after that contact with Cam on the final lap, they may go to the stewards post-race, but he's going to finish on the road at the moment in P3. Jollers holds on for P4. Matt Tibos in 5th. Then we've got Dan the Man 6th. Jack Hickey 7th. Phil Bardrell jumps up to 8th. Alistair jumps up to 8th. Jack Hickey drops all the way down to 9th. Aidan in 10th. Kai in 11th. Then we've got Jordan, Court Gill, Jovial Muncie rounds up the points. Dom Smith finishes 15th. Chiapelli in 16th. Magic Poop Cannon in 17th. And then we've just got Big Boy Duran coming round the final couple of corners of this race. So Big Boy Duran finishes the race. And that has been the Austrian Grand Prix round 7 of the season. And that was an exciting race. We had a battle at the front all the way from start to finish between 3 drivers. We had the Jollers train for P4 and the Dyson going on in that little group as well to watch out for. And we didn't really have a chance to see any lower than that because there was so much action right up near the sharp end. As you see Softy celebrating on the podium, winning his 3rd race of the season after Australia and Imola. 3rd victory of the season. That's his 3rd victory in his 3 races he's done so far this season. Of course, he was on commentary duty for the week 1 and week number 3. So that means, yeah, he's won 3 out of 3 of the ones he's competed in. Cam and Machine Fishy picking up points, podium points as well. So here's a full rundown of the finishing order. Softy wins. Cam gets fastest lap and finishes in P2 as well. Then we've got Machine Fishy, Jollers, Tibos, Dan the Man, Phil Bardrell, Alistair Bain, Jack Hickey with a 3-second time penalty drops from 6th down to 9th. Then we've got Aidan rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Kai in 11th, Jordan in 12th, Court in 13th, Jovial Manti rounded out the points in 14th, Dom Smith just missing out. They've got Magic Poop Gallen, Chiapelli, Big Boy Duran, and then the 2 DNFs of Wet Lemons and the predictable one of Jack Pearson. As we get ready, well, we finish that race and we get ready to go for round number 8 of the season. 35%. It'll be 25 laps by my calculation round the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, and there'll be a one-shot qualifying for that race as well. Turns. 2.7 miles. position as we see ourselves round to... My mic was on mute, thanks for that. As we see ourselves round to the end of this one-shot qualifying session, riding on board with Softy. Alistair looks like he's going to be in pole position, and it's going to be a Red Bull front row lockout here. And it is a Red Bull front row lockout. Alistair with a 22.8. Goes 6 tenths quicker than anyone else. Gets himself on pole position here in this session. Matt Tibos in third, Machine Fishy in fourth. But a Red Bull lockout on the front row. And yeah, it's going to be a very jumbled up grid here in qualifying. And ready to go for this 25 laps round the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So yeah, Alistair on pole position from Softcop in second, a Red Bull 1-2. Matt Tibos in third, Machine Fishy in fourth, and Jack Hickman in fifth. They've got Aiden in sixth, Bishop Chiapelli in seventh, Phil Bardwell in eighth, Jovial Manatee in ninth. They've got Jordan in 10th, Court in 11th, Magic Bootcamp 12th. Dom Smith in 13th, Big Boy Jared 14th, Jonas 15th, Jack Pearson 16th, Wet Lemons in 17th. Dan the man who was looking so good in that session ends up down in 18th, Speed Guy in 19th, and Cam, lead of the championship going into tonight, starts from last position for 25 laps round the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And thankfully for some of the drivers, it looks like a dry Grand Prix here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Drivers are going to make their preparations for the race here, round 8 of the season of TGP1. Second of the 5 35% races this season here at Canada. 25 laps round this 2.7 mile circuit on the Ile Notre Dame. Potentially hosting a NASCAR race next year. But for now, it's just F1 racing. They have to deal with the locals of the Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights are on here in Canada. It's a Red Bull front row, and it looks like a strong start from Softy. He's going to jump his teammate straight off the line and put himself into the lead of this Grand Prix. Alistair holds on to second place on those soft tyres. Meanwhile, it's 2x2 as they stake their way through the first couple of corners. But Softy jumps straight out into the lead of this Grand Prix from Alistair. Matt Tibos in third. They've got Machine Fishy and Aiden rounding out the top 5. Jump start there from Wet Lemons as well. He's at the back of the field. Jump in the start, and he has a drive-through penalty to go with it. But Softy is going to try and stretch his legs on his teammate on this opening lap. Meanwhile, Tibos is having to fend off a little bit from Machine Fishy. Cam has jumped up to 17th off the start after qualifying down in last position. See, so at the end of the second sector, Softy still leading here from Alistair. Alistair has got Tibos all over the back of him. Actually gets a little bit of a nudge by the looks of it. Oh no, he doesn't. Nice bit of lag there for us to deal with. But Softy's pulled out a second lead already on the field. As we head into the chicane for the first time. Flicks it through nicely. He gets through it and he's into the lead. Alistair's second. And we've got Matt Tibos in third, and Machine Fishy is closing in on the back of Matt Tibos, trying to nick that final podium place. As it stands, we finished lap 1 of 25. It's going to be a long old race here in Canada. As Tibos has a slide, Machine Fishy puts himself up into P3. Tibos down to P4. And Aiden's looking for a move potentially on the back of him. But like I was just saying, it was going to be a long old race for these drivers. 35% going to be more like a half an hour race, maybe even 35-minute race compared to the usual 25-minute race that the drivers would have to deal with. So, coming towards 2-second lead now for Softy over Alistair. Alistair's maintained P2, so he's doing alright so far. And Machine Fishy is looking further down the field. Court is looking at the back of Mr. Chiapelli. This is the battle for 7th. It's battle for 8th and 9th, shall I say. And let's have a quick look at what tyres. And there's a real mix Most people starting on the mediums as Court goes round the outside of the Mercedes driver and puts himself up into P8 on the road. But there's a real mix of strategy here. Majority have gone for the medium tyres, but there's a couple on softs and a couple on hards. But the predominant tyre opening this race is that medium tyre. So it'll be very interesting to see when people peel into the pits in this Grand Prix. As we see drivers picking up penalties already. Matt Tibos picking up a penalty. As we see Machine Fishy trying to close in on the back of Alistair. Tibos is actually all over the back of him as well. There's a bit of a slide there from the Pass driver and the McLaren driver as we head towards the end of one of the DRS zones. Fortunately, that's probably the trickiest one to overtake in. That one into turns number 8 and 9. Very tricky corner to go for and move in. Meanwhile, we see ourselves through the hairpin once again in this race. Machine Fishing all over the back of Alistair here in his McLaren. He's going to go to the outside. DRS open on that McLaren. He gets the move done, puts himself up into P2. But Softy has already pulled out nearly a 4-second lead on the field as he starts lap number 4. Tibos all over the back of Alistair as well, trying to get himself up into the podium places even with that time penalty. Aiden's still in 5th, Jack Hickey in 6th, Phil Bardwell 7th, Court in 8th, Mr. Chiapelli 9th and Jovial Mancy rounded out the top 10 in this Grand Prix. Cam's not really made a good start. He's right down the back end of the field. I'm thinking he might have made an early stop, but didn't quite catch that. Meanwhile, Mr. Chiapelli got back past Court. They're side by side further down the field by the looks of it as they come off turn number 7 and the run down to turn 8, and Court gets himself back ahead and puts himself back into P8 in this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, further up the field, going to go back with Matt Tibos, looking for a move potentially this time on Alistair as he gets himself into the hairpin of turn 10. So Matt Tibos going to have the DRS this time, but so is Alistair actually. He's just kept in range of Machine Fishy and he's going to use some ERS to try and keep in front of him. So not so easy for Matt Tibos. He's actually pulled he's bridged that gap quite nicely to Machine Fishy in front, using a bit of ERS and a bit of DRS, meaning Tibos couldn't really go for a move. Meanwhile, Aiden all over the back of Jack Hickey. There's a yellow flag, and I think someone's had a bit of an accident there, as we see Aiden all over the back of Jack Hickey. Meanwhile, Matt Tibos still all over the back of Alistair. Battle for the final podium spot on the road. Aiden's picked up a time penalty in this race. It's going to be a story of this Grand Prix, and we're not going to see, I think, the full results shake out until the every driver crosses the line. A lot of drivers, 6 drivers already got time penalties in this race on lap number 5. Meanwhile, Matt Tibos down the inside. He gets the move done on Alistair and then loses it on the exit of 9, and Alistair gets straight back past again. Not ideal, and Jack Hickey is closing in on this battle after all that as well. So Matt Tibos going to be looking for a move. DRS wide open on the run down to turn number 12. This time, Alistair's not going to have the help of the ERS and the DRS off the back of Machine Fishy this time round. And Matt Tibos looks like he's going to make the move easily into turn number 12. Yes, he does. Flicks it in, gets the move done. He's up into P3. Alistair back down to P4 as we flick our attention further down the field. Aiden looking at the back of Jack Hickey. It's Mercedes versus Aston Martin, and Phil Bardwell is lurking in the background. 2 behind on mediums. All 3 of this lot are actually on medium tyres. And they're now catching up to the back of Alistair, who started this race on the softs as well. So Alistair is being a little bit of a cork in the bottle in this race, I'd say. He definitely qualified out position compared to his pace in Austria. But it was a storming qualifying. He took advantage, was the best to adapt to the wet conditions, and gave himself a great shot to get a good result in this Grand Prix. But he's starting to tumble back down the order now as the quicker drivers are rising to the top of the field. Meanwhile, Phil Bardwell picked up a 3-second time penalty there. That makes it 7 drivers with at least 3 seconds worth of penalties in this Grand Prix now. As we see Jack Hickey in the Mercedes getting closer and closer to the back of Alistair. Alistair's just about held on the DRS and Tibos, and that car is very quick in a straight line with the DRS wide open. We know in real life that Red Bull's rapid with the DRS Open, and he's proven it once again here in Canada. As we see, Jack Hickey looking to potentially make a move on Alistair at some point in this race. But it's a bit of a train behind Matt Tibos, but how long will it last for? Meanwhile, further back, Hickey is still looking. This battle for P4 and P5. Aidan and Phil lurking in the background as well. Court is about a second and a half behind. More penalties coming. Big Boy Duran is out of this Grand Prix. Jack Pearson has entered the pit lane as well. Meanwhile, Jack Hickey looking for a move down the inside turn number 8. Can he get the move done? Yes, he does. Gets the move done into turn number 8. Great move there from Jack Hickey. He puts himself up to P4, and he's going to try and hassle and harry the back of Matt Timoff. But Alistair still lurking in the background in that Red Bull. Aidan just behind as well. And Phil Bardwell is just about there as well. This group of about 4 or 5 drivers very close to each other. Caught a little bit further back, and then there's a bit of a gaggle behind that as well. As we see the drivers heading down. Phil Bardwell, you've seen there with the DRS wide open. Alistair potentially looking for a move on Jack Hickey, but couldn't quite make it work that time around. Switch to Aidan. Aidan's closing in on his brother there. His brother on brother action here. Is he going to make a move into the first couple of corners? No, he isn't quite. He's going to hang on a little bit longer. He started on those medium tyres, Aidan. Alistair starting on those soft tyres. So I don't know how long they're expected to stay out, these soft tyre runners, but it can't be too much longer. Alistair has a massive slide actually coming through turn number 4. Aidan dives it to the inside, wheel banging with your brother. That's not exactly what you want to do. Aidan round the outside of his brother though, gets the move done. Does it? Yes, he does. He's up into 5th place. And we've got Phil Bardwell trying to follow him through on the outside. He does that as well. So Alistair with that slide in the turn 4, exit turn 4, lost his momentum, and he's ended up dropping 2 places because of it. And now Phil Bardwell's probably be looking for a move on Aidan. Aidan's not going to have the DRS, and it's a safety car in this race. I'm not entirely sure what for, but it is a safety car. And Softy's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Oh dear. The race leader, leading quite comfortably, has now picked up a drive-through penalty. Everyone is going to dive into the pit lane under this as well. I think the guys who started on the soft tyres will definitely go to the mediums or the hards. Hard tyres runners will go to the medium, but the medium tyres, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. Is that hard tyres? Yes, it's hard tyres, but the real situation to come out of that is Softy has picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. He had about a 9-second lead, but he's going to have to serve a drive-through straight after this safety car restart. I wonder when he will take it. If I was here, he's leading anyway, so he's going to have to clear track on the restart. I presume he'd either take it straight away, get it done, maybe follow the safety car into the pit lane and try and minimise the time loss that way, or blitz it for as long as he can out front and then pit right at the end of that 3 laps. You've got to do a drive-through penalty, but that's a bit of a disaster for Softy. There goes picking up a drive-through, and he will drop right to the tail of this field. So it'll be very interesting to see the rest of this Grand Prix what he does picking his way through the field. But safety car here, not, like I said, not entirely sure what this safety car is for. Couldn't work out what the issue was that's brought out this safety car in this Grand Prix. We've now got a bit of a lull in this race under the safety car. So under that safety car, let's see who pitted. Just have a look at the pit stops under this. So the only drivers that haven't made a pit stop are Jovial Manti and Jonas. Everyone else has made at least 1 pit stop in this Grand Prix now. Cam has actually made 2, but everyone else has served their mandatory pit stop, apart from Jovial Manti and Jonas. Let's just have a quick look and see what tyres they were on as well. And they were both on the hard tyres, so they probably felt there was no... It didn't make much sense to pit this early into the Grand Prix. So they're going to try and probably hang it out right to the end now, and try and make up the time difference that way. But it's calmed down now, this race, a little bit. Softy had a commanding lead, but picked up that drive-through penalty under the safety car. Speeded under the safety car. It's a slam dunk penalty, and Softy should know better than that, really. Meanwhile, Jack Pearson's... How have you done that, Jack? I'm sorry, how have you done that? You've managed to pick up a corner cutting penalty under the safety car. The stunned silence. That's just stunned silence from me, that is. The safety car is in this time. That ends by stunned silence of Jack Pearson picking up a time penalty under the safety car. So now, very interesting to see what Softy does on this restart. Does he dive straight for the pit lane, knowing that Jovial Manti and Johners are on hard tyres, haven't boxed yet in this Grand Prix? So Softy bails away. He doesn't peel in, so I think he's going for the stay out as long as possible strategy and hope that he can pull out a bit of a lead and then jump in at the end of his window. So Johns and Jovial Manti are the corks in the bottle for the rest of the field now, as Machine Fisher is going to be all over the back of him on his fresh tyres here in Canada. We're on lap number 11 of 25. Still got 15 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Long old race this, as I've reiterated. 5 of these 35%. This is the second of the 5 this season as we head onto the back straight, right on board with Machine Fishy in that McLaren now. He's on those medium tyres and started on those hard tyres. Is he going to try and make a move down the inside of the hairpin? Here, Machine Fishy in the McLaren, down the inside he goes of Johners. Does he get the move done? Yes, he does. Meanwhile, Aiden diving up the inside of a couple of drivers back there as well in the other Aston Martin. Now Machine Fishy is going to try and dispatch of Jovial Manti fairly quickly, and he is doing so down this back straight. He gets the move done and he's up into P2 in this race now. Meanwhile, let's look at the rest of the corks in the bottle as we see those two drivers further up the field of Jovial Manti and Jodders, higher up than where they should be, really, as there's side-by-side action between Jack Hickey and Aiden. They're resuming their battle from before the safety car period in this Grand Prix. Matt Tibos will be looking to the inside of Jodders, not quite able to get the move done into turn 3 this time around. As we see Jodders having a massive slide coming out of the exit of turn number 7. That opens the door for Matt Tibos to make a move into turn number 8. Gets the move done and he's passed one of the two drivers yet to pit. And now he's got the other one to follow. Meanwhile, Jack Hickey is now the next car in line. He's going to make a move on the inside of Johners into turn number 10. Gets the move done. He's up into 5th place. Meanwhile, Matt Tibos all over the back of Jovial Manti. He's going to make a move this time around. Yes, he is looking to the outside. He's going to get the move done. He's up into P3. Jack Hickey is closing in on the background as well. So those drivers have stayed out. Has not really worked out for him. Has Softy come in there? No, he's got to come in this time around, I believe, to serve that drive-through penalty, and that will put him right down the order. Won't put him behind Johners though. Johners realises that wasn't working for him. He's bailed and he's pitted. Dom Smith picks up a time penalty. It's going to be the story of this Grand Prix as we see Jack Hickey all over the back of Jovial Manti now. Mercedes versus AlphaTauri into turn number 6, and he thinks better of it. DRS has now been enabled after the safety car as well, so that's another aspect to worry about for Jovial Manti. DRS wide open on the Mercedes. He looks down the inside. He's going to get the move done quite comfortably into turn number 8, and that is him up into P4. Jovial Manti tumbling down the order. Next person that will be overtaken by, most likely if he doesn't box soon, is Aidan Griffiths in the other Aston Martin. So let's see what Softy does this time around. Got 4.5 second lead after that safety car, but he's got to serve that drive through And he peels in this time round. Yes, he does. So Softy in to serve his drive through. Be very interested to see where he peels out compared to the rest of the field. We're going to see him trundling down the pit lane. Machine Fishy has probably been gift wrapped the victory in this race, barring another safety car. As we see Softy trundling down the pit lane. Drops himself. He drops down to just outside the points. He's going to rejoin in 12th, just behind Chiapelli. So he's going to have some work to do in this Grand Prix now. Meanwhile, further up the field, we go scrolling up. Aiden is not quite closing in on the back. Court is having to fend off Cam. Cam is looking to the outside of Phil Bardrow. There's a train forming behind Kai now as well. And this will be helping out Softy. I could actually see him. He's right at the back of this train. So a realistic target for Softy is probably P5 in this race still. After his penalty, meanwhile Cam doing the switch back on Phil Bardrow. They're going to be side by side, heading down towards the hairpin. He's got the move done actually, and now he's going to dive up the inside of the Alpine. Cam gets the move done, does he? Not quite. They're still side by side on the exit. Court and Cam. He gets the move done. He's going to have the DRS, but no, Court is using that overspeed. Cam is going to be really annoyed about that. He's got that good exit, and Court is going to drive straight past his teammate as well. Kai dives into the pit lane. Court has made a bit of a mess of the chicane, and Cam's going to fly past on the outside. They're going to be 3 wide. This might end in tears. Phil Bardrow down the inside of Cam. Doesn't get the move done. They're side by side, bit of wheel banging, and Phil Bardrow hangs it around the outside. Another penalty for another driver. Softy in 12. Allison down in 13. As you see, Softy is right on the back of this train, and this is where all the action is currently. Aiden has got past Jovial Mansi. He's up into P4. Jovial Mansi's back down to P5. But now Court is the cork in the bottle in the field. As we see, Jovial Mansi has a little bit of a gap. He's got about 2 seconds on this battle. Aiden's got past Jovial Mansi. I presume he did it on the back straight on the last lap. Softy up into P11 now. He's just overtaken here too. Jordan, and he's right at the back of this train. And actually, I can see him. He's going to make a move, most likely, on Mr. Chiapelli into turn number 10, the hairpin. He's going to look to the outside. Softy is going to think better of it. He knows he's probably got the pace, and there's a bit of contact behind. Dom, Alistair, bit of a tangle there at the hairpin, and there's a problem there for Alistair. And the problem is he's facing the wrong direction. As you see, Softy potentially looking for a move, doesn't quite do it. Court has been overtaken by Cam, but Cam picks up a 3-second time penalty in the process. Court looking to the move, potentially down the inside of turn number 1, thinks better off it. Phil Bardrow lurking in the background as well. As we're on lap number 16, Phil Bardrow looking to the outside of Court here. And we got the Alpine of Dan the Man also lurking in the background. A lot of lurking going on, lurking in the background. A lot of waiting in the rings, waiting for something to happen. As we see, Softy has already got himself back up into P10, and he's only 1.2 seconds off the back of this little battle. Like I said, I think P5 is a realistic target for Softy in this race. Maybe even P4. There's still 10 laps to go, and he's definitely, as he's proven in the early stages of this race, he had a commanding lead on the field, and he was pulling away. So I think a realistic target for Softy is that top 5 finish. Meanwhile, Court is holding up Phil Bardrow now. Phil Bardrow is going to have DRS on Court. Court, I don't think it's quite close enough to Cam to make a move. Alistair is out of this Grand Prix, unfortunately. That's another safety car. That is another safety car in this race. And that is going to help Softy out massively. Drive through for Aiden this time round for speeding in the pit lane. That's not exactly what he wanted. So that's 2 different drivers. Phil Bardrow speeding. And Softy's done it again. He has done it again. I do not believe this. Softy has done it again. He has sped under the safety car, picked up a drive-through. Yes, Phil Bardrow's also done it, but... Oh, Softy. How to throw away... Guide on how to throw away a race victory with Softy here today in Canada. As he's thrown away a commanding lead from the first safety car, speeding, getting a drive-through. And now when he had the chance to maybe redeem himself, maybe put himself back onto the podium, picks up another drive-through. And yeah, that's any chance of serious points, I think, for Softy gone in this race now. But we are under our second safety car here at Canada. Machine Fishy leads the race. Matt Tibos in second place. Then we've got Jack Hickey in third. Dan the Man in fourth. Followed by Derla. No, it's on. Mike is definitely on. As we see, yeah, top four. Definitely fine. Then just had to double check my mic was working, but yes, I can see it is. I believe you could all hear me as we get ready for another safety car restart, but that's a disaster for Softy. That 100% win record of races he's actually done this season is now going to be gone here in Canada. So just have a quick rundown of whatever tyres everyone's on. Mediums for Fishy at the front, hards for the next 5 behind. Then we've got Aiden on softs, mediums for Johners. A lot of people pitted under that safety car actually as it comes in this lap. The top 5 did not, and Johners did not pit under that safety car. Neither did Jack Pearson. But all the rest have made a pit stop under that safety car. So basically 6 downwards are going to have the fresh rubber and are going to try and play upset with the guys who stayed out under this safety car. Machine Fishy is controlling the pace. He is going to have 7 laps to go once the race restarts. Has he gone already? Yes, he has. He's gone down the back straight already. Machine Fishy flicks it through the chicane, and away we go. 7 more laps round Canada. Aiden bails to the pit lane already. He's gone committed to his drive-through already. So I believe as Phil Barger and Softy, I think they've all just committed to their drive-through straight off the bat, getting it out of the way since they're sort of mid-pack anyway. They've all just committed, done their drive-throughs now rather than having to do them later on. Meanwhile, Machine Fishy has got Matt Tibos company behind. Dan the Man is lurking in the background. So Cam is actually the top runner of the people who stopped under that safety car now. All the top 6 are on tyres that weren't pitted under that safety car. Johners is lurking all over the back of Dom Smith. Matt Tibos is actually lurking at the back of Machine Fishy, but I don't think he's going to cause him too many problems this time around. But I think the main thing is Johners and Cam, and oh, it's getting a bit hairy scary there. It's getting a bit bloody Mary. As we see Cam in P7, side by side between Jovial Manti and Court. Jovial Manti pitted under that safety car, and he's still in P9, so he's actually on for a decent result still in this race. But the queue is actually behind Johners at this current moment in time. He's a little bit behind Dom, but main queue is Johners at the moment. Johners once again being a bit of a cork in the bottle in this race. As we see Cam all over the back of him, Court all over the back of him, Jovial Manti all over the back of him. Basically everyone down to 13th is in this train behind Johners and Dom Smith, battling for the last spots of the top 5. Meanwhile, Tibos is just about in touching distance of Machine Fishy, but not. I don't think he's causing him too many issues at this current time. Main ones to worry about is Johners potentially making a move on Dom Smith. Dom all the way up into P5 thanks to only making 1 stop in this race so far. He only pitted under that first safety car and has stayed out so far. Johners making a move potentially this time around though. Going to have the DRS, no not yet, but he's going to have the ERS, and he makes the move on Dom Smith. Dom Smith drops down to P6. Is Cam going to follow Johners through? Yes he is. So that's 2 positions lost for Dom Smith. Johners up into P5, Cam up into P6. But Cam is on those soft tyres and he's looking very racy. The DRS has been enabled. Cam looking to the outside at turn number 1. Is Johners going to run him out of road? No, not quite. And they're going to be side by side on the exit of 2. Cam's going to have the traction most likely. He's going to have the inside line into turn number 3. Softy sets the fastest lap of the race, but he's down in P15, so that'll be no points as it currently stands. And sees himself through, does Cam, and Cam is up into P5. Johners back down to P6. And now Cam, on those soft tyres, will be trying to make some moves in this race. Meanwhile, further up, Matt Tibos is still just about keeping in touch conditions with Machine Fishy in this race. DRS has been enabled this time. Can he make any challenges down the back straight? Needs a good exit here this time round. He's going to use the DRS. He's going to use that Urza. I think Machine Fishy is actually just going to hold on. But Court is now trying to make a move, and Johners here. Everyone has got past Dob. Dob's all the way back down 11th, so everyone's picked their way up past him. Court making a move up the inside. Johners into the chicane, puts himself up into P6. So that's that move done. Court P6, Johners down to P7. Dom Smith picks up a 3-second time penalty as well to make his day worse. Meanwhile, Jovial Manti flies up the inside of Johners, gets the move done there just in the background there. He's up into P7 and he's on soft tyres as well. And Cam is now all over the back of Dan the Man. And Dan the Man was another one of those drivers that stayed out under the safety car. So it'll be very interesting to see. Jack Hickey as well, all over the back of Tibos. Tibos just about hanging onto the back of Machine Fishy. We've got a 3-car battle for the lead. We've got Cam passing Dan the Man. He's up into P4. And is Cam going to have enough time to get onto the back of this lead battle and make a potential charge for the race victory? That is the real question. Jack Hickey all over the back of Matt Tibos. Is he going to be able to make a move down the back straight and in towards turns 12 and 13? The Wall of Champions chicane. DRS wide open on the Mercedes of Jack Hickey. He's going to make a move down the inside. He's looking to the inside. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. He's got the move done. He's up into P2 and past Matt Tibos. He could see that Cam was coming and he needed to make that move. He had any chance of probably getting a podium in this Grand Prix. Jack Hickey gets the move done, and now he's going to try and chase down Machine Fishy and pick up, I believe, would be his first victory of the season. Yes, it would. He's going to try and pick up a victory in this Grand Prix. Tibos down to 3rd, and Cam is coming. He's got just about hanging on, and Court is very feisty on the back of Cam. He's coming along for the ride as well, so don't count out Court and Cam yet. There's only 2.5 laps left in this race. But they've still got time, I think, to get themselves at least onto the podium. Meanwhile, Jack Hickey is flying. Jack Pearson has retired from the session, and that is, again, another predictable thing that happened in this Grand Prix. As we see, Jack Hickey getting closer and closer to the back of Machine Fishy. Machine Fishy gets a good exit out of the hairpin, though. A bit of wheel spin that time from Jack Hickey. I don't think he's quite going to be close enough to make a move. Meanwhile, Cam is coming. Court is looking all over the back of Cam. Cam, oh, there's a, what the, oh, it's a bit lag. Right, okay then, forget that. But Court gets down the inside of Cam and gets himself up into P4. He's the lead of the ones that pitted under that safety car. Can he catch and get himself onto the podium? At least Matt Tibos. He's going to try his absolute damnedest. And even with the penalty, he's going to get himself onto the podium anyway. But it's getting close between these front 3 as well. Jack Hickey trying to keep up with Machine Fishing. Tibos just about hanging on. Court is flying. He's clawed back half a second in that first sector alone. Only a lap and a half left though. Round Canada. Machine Fishing leading the race. Jack Hickey in 2nd. Matt Tibos in 3rd. Then we've got Court in 4th and Cam in 5th. Cam is going to try and potentially make a move on Court once again in this race. As we see Hickey looking closer and closer. Is he going to get a better run out of this hairpin this time round? Oh, Machine Fishy. No. He gets a good run out of that hairpin, Fishy. That's just about enough to keep him in front. But Court has pulled in a 2nd on this lap alone, as he's closing and closing and closing on this group in front of him. Meanwhile, Jack Hickey, I didn't think he had the time to do it. He does. Jack Hickey gets the move done. He's into the lead of this Grand Prix as we start the final lap. Machine Fishy is going to try and make a move down the inside into turn 1, is he? No, not quite. Meanwhile, there's the yellow flag in Sector 3. I think someone has stacked it into the wall, but I'm not sure who. But Jack Hickey is now leading this race here in Canada. Machine Fishy second, Matt Tibos in third, and Court Gill is coming. Time penalty for Machine Fishy. He drops himself down to second place, but he's trying to hassle and harry Jack Hickey now. Try and get himself back into the lead. They're going to be side by side. Great run out that corner from Machine Fishy. Going to be side by side in the run down to turn number 8, but he can't quite get the move done. He's going to stay behind. Bit of a slide there from Machine Fishy. It's all getting very feisty and very leery on this final lap of the race here. But Jack Hickey has got 7/10 of a second as he approaches one more DRS straight to go. Try and hold on to this race victory. And Court is suddenly there as well. Court all over the back of Matt Tibos. Tibos harvested his Ers, so I think Court's going to get him. Yes, he is. No more Ers left. He gets himself onto the podium. Machine Fishy is in second place, but Jack Hickman in the Mercedes comes across the line in Canada to win his first race of the season. Machine Fishy finishes on the road second, but we'll have to see where everything shakes out after all the penalties. We'll give you a full rundown of the results once everyone's crossed the line. Still got people further down. Phil Bardrell coming across the line, and Jordan, and and Magic Poopan is going to be the last car across the line. And looking at the order now, all the penalties have shaken out. Jack Hickman wins the race. That was a given. He won the race on the road, didn't have any penalties. That was no question marks there. It looked like Court was going to be second as well, looking at the guys in front. We could kind of predict that. But after that, we just had to wait for all the penalties to shake out and see what it was. But the podium has ended up being Jack Hickman in the Mercedes, followed by Court in the Alpine, and Jovial Manatee, winner in Monaco, picks up another podium here in Canada in the 35% race. So Jack Hickman wins in Canada. Great preparation for his great attempt at the Great North Run on the 10th of September there. As he wins here, that will definitely get his cardio going, ready, and preparation for that. As we see the drivers spraying the champagne. But here is the final result. So Jack Hickman wins here in Canada from Court in second and Jovial Manatee in third. Machine Fishy, after his penalty, drops down to fourth place. Dan the Man in fifth. John is in sixth. Matt Tibos in seventh. Kieran in eighth. Then we've got Wet Lemons in ninth and Cam rounding out the top 10. Softy, after his double drive-throughs, picks up fastest lap, but only finishes down in 11th. Chiapelli in 12th. Dom Smith in 13th. And Phil Bardwell is the last of the point scorers in 14th. Jordan 15th. Magic Poop Cannon in 16th. Aidan in 17th. And Jack Pearson, DNF in 18th. 19th, Alistair. And 20th is Big Boy Dewan. So those have been your two races in TGP1 tonight. And first one was a bit more sedate in terms, but it did kick off towards the end. Great battle for the lead. And then Canada, 2 safety cars, and after that second safety car where there was splits in strategy. Top 6 all stayed out and everyone else behind pitted for new soft tyres. It meant great racing and unpredictability. We didn't know who was going to win. It ended up being one of the guys that stayed out, but not the one who led at the safety car. It ended up being Jack Hickman. But they have been 2 corking races. Hopefully you did enjoy them. This has been TGP1 Season 30. We'll be back next week for Great Britain and Hungary. And Hungary is another one of these 35% races as well. So we've got another one of them to look forward to. But thank you for watching these 2 races. And we will see you next time out in TGP1. See you on PS4.